You know that feeling when you're talking to a girl and you're just not sure if she's into you? Well, after this video, those days are over. We're about to uncover 8 secret behaviors that women use to signal their interest. These aren't your obvious flirting techniques. We're talking about subtle, often subconscious actions that speak volumes. Let's start with our first secret behavior. She acts nervous. Now, this might seem counterintuitive. After all, shouldn't someone who likes you be cool and collected? Not necessarily. When we're around someone we're attracted to, our bodies can go into overdrive. This nervousness is actually a good sign. What does this nervousness look like? It could be fidgeting with her hair or jewelry, talking faster than usual, or even stumbling over her words. You might notice her laughing a bit too much at things that aren't particularly funny. These are all signs that your presence is having an effect on her. But here's the key: it's not about the nervousness itself. It's about the change in her behavior when she's around you. Is she usually confident and articulate, but becomes a bit flustered in your presence? That's a strong indicator that she might be interested. Moving on to our second secret behavior, she initiates conversations. This one's huge, guys. In today's world, where everyone's glued to their phones and social interaction seems to be on the decline, someone making an effort to start a conversation is significant. If a girl is constantly finding reasons to talk to you, whether it's in person or through text, pay attention. Maybe she asks for your opinion on something trivial, or she brings up a shared interest that you mentioned once in passing. These aren't random acts, they're her way of creating opportunities to connect with you. But it's not just about starting conversations, it's also about keeping them going. Does she ask follow-up questions? Does she seem genuinely interested in your responses? If she's putting in the effort to maintain a dialogue, it's a clear sign that she values your interaction. Let's talk about our third secret behavior: keeps touching her face. This is a fascinating one because it combines elements of nervousness and preening. We often subconsciously draw attention to our faces, particularly our lips. You might notice her touching her lips while you're talking, tucking her hair behind her ear, or lightly running her fingers along her neck. These gestures serve a dual purpose. First, they're a self-soothing behavior that helps manage the nervousness we talked about earlier. Second, they're designed to draw your attention to her face and neck areas that are traditionally considered attractive. This behavior is deeply rooted in our evolutionary psychology. By drawing attention to these areas, she's subconsciously highlighting her femininity and beauty. So the next time you're chatting with a girl and you notice her hand lingering near her face, it might be more than just a casual gesture. Let's move on to our fourth secret behavior: her pitch changes. This one's subtle, but once you know what to listen for, it's unmistakable. When we're attracted to someone, our vocal cords actually tense up slightly, causing our pitch to rise. This often means their voice becomes a bit higher and more feminine when talking to someone they're interested in. It's not a dramatic change. We're not talking about suddenly sounding like a cartoon character. It's a slight shift, but it's noticeable if you're paying attention. But it's not just about the pitch. You might also notice changes in the rhythm and speed of her speech. Does she speak a bit faster when she's talking to you? Does her voice have a lilt or energy that's not there when she's talking to others? These are all potential signs of attraction. Now, onto our fifth secret behavior. And this one's a bit more direct. She asks if you're single. This might seem obvious, but it's worth discussing because of the way it often happens. Most of the time, a girl isn't going to come right out and ask, "Hey, are you single?" It's usually much more subtle than that. She might casually bring up relationships in conversation, asking about your dating history or mentioning her own single status. She could make jokes about being your girlfriend or tease you about other girls who might be interested in you. All of these are ways of fishing for information about your availability. Pay attention to the context of these questions too. If she's asking about your relationship status in a group setting, it might just be part of the general conversation. But if she's finding ways to bring it up in one-on-one interactions, that's a stronger sign of personal interest. Let's move on to our sixth secret behavior: adjusts her clothes. This one ties back to the concept of preening we mentioned earlier. When we're attracted to someone, we naturally want to look our best. For women, this often manifests in subtle adjustments to their appearance. You might notice her smoothing out her clothes, adjusting her neckline, or fixing her hair more frequently when you're around. These aren't just random actions, they're her subconscious way of making sure she looks her best for you. But here's the catch: these behaviors are often so subtle that most guys miss them entirely. She's not going to do a full outfit change in front of you. Instead, Look for those quick, almost reflexive adjustments. Does she subtly check her reflection in a nearby surface when you approach? Does she seem more aware of her appearance in your presence? These are all potential signs that she's making an extra effort for you. Now, let's dive into our 7th secret behavior: keep staring at you. Eye contact is a powerful thing, guys. When a girl is interested in you, she'll find it hard to look away. You might catch her glancing at you across the room, or notice that her gaze lingers a bit longer than usual when you're talking. But it's not just about the duration of the eye contact, it's also about the quality. There's a difference between a casual glance and a lingering look. When she's interested, her gaze will often be more intense, more focused. You might notice her eyes scanning your face, taking in your features. Here's a tip: if you catch her looking and she quickly glances away, pay attention to what happens next. If she's interested, her eyes will often dart back to you after a moment. This triple taker, looking at you, looking away, then looking back, is a strong sign of attraction. And now, drum roll please, it's time for our 8th and final secret behavior. This is the one that might just blow your mind. She shares personal stories. This behavior is so powerful because it's all about vulnerability and trust. When a girl is interested in you, she'll want to create a deeper connection. One way she does this is by sharing personal stories or information. These aren't just random anecdotes, they're carefully chosen snippets of her life that she's using to invite you in. Pay attention to the type of stories she shares. Is she telling you about her childhood, her dreams and aspirations, her fears and insecurities? The more personal the information, the more it indicates that she trusts you and wants to form a bond. But it's not just about her sharing, it's also about how she reacts when you share. Does she seem genuinely interested in your stories? Does she ask follow-up questions or relate your experiences back to her own? This reciprocal sharing is a key component of building intimacy and attraction. Now, let's tie all of this together. No single behavior on its own is a guarantee of attraction. It's about noticing patterns, about being attuned to the overall vibe of your interactions. It's crucial to remember that everyone is different. Some women might display all of these behaviors when they're interested, while others might only show 1 or 2. The key is to stay observant, to be present in your interactions, and to trust your instincts. But here's the most important thing to remember: this knowledge isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about understanding, about improving your ability to connect with others on a deeper level. Use this information responsibly. If you notice these signs, it doesn't mean you should automatically make a move. It means you have an opportunity to engage, to get to know her better, to see if there's a real connection there. And remember, communication is a two-way street. While you're looking for these signs from her, be aware of the signals you're sending too. Are you being open, attentive, and genuine in your interactions? The best connections happen when both people are equally invested and aware. To keep getting the insider secrets to boosting your attractiveness, just hit that notification bell. And don't go just yet. There's more to discover. Check out one of these videos on your screen to continue sharpening your edge.